You're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Tonight's episode is brought to you by TOVI Hockey, Caisse Financial Group, and Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy. Two people will be joining the show tonight. To start things off, we got a WHL draft pick in the house. In fact, he is a first overall pick. He went first round pick, a first round pick from the 2021 WHL draft that happened in December of the past year. In 2021, he went 20th overall to the Everett Silvertips. He's playing on the Saskatoon Blazers this year. He's number 24. He's a rookie defenseman on the team this season. He's from Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan, and hey, he's been a guest here on the show before. It's number 24, Tarin Smith. Tarin will be joining the show to talk about his experience on draft day in the WHL of getting drafted to Everett and everything that's come after that, as well as I'll be diving into Tarin's season this year that he's been having with the Saskatoon Blazers in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. So sit back, folks, relax, enjoy tonight's show, and right after the intro runs here of the Prospect Show, Tarin Smith, number 24 rookie defenseman of the Saskatoon Blazers and first round pick for the Everett Silvertips in the 2021 WHL draft, will be joining the show. That's coming up tonight on this edition of the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Wow! And there he is, number 24 of the Saskatoon Blazers, rookie defenseman on the team this season, Tarin Smith, out of Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan, joining the show here tonight. Tarin, how you doing, man? It's been a while since we've last talked, but this is your second appearance on the show. Happy to have you on again.
Thank you. I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good, doing fantastic, honestly. Not excited for the weather that's going to be coming and hitting Manitoba here in the next few days, as there's going to be a lot of snow coming, but that's been the theme this year, this winter, in Manitoba especially. But have you guys been getting much snow in Saskatchewan? I'm sure you have. I know today when I talked to you earlier on, you said you guys were driving through a storm.
Yeah, it was really bad. You couldn't even see the road in front of you.
Yeah, it's been that way quite a bit this year when, I've been on the road. I haven't been driving because if I was driving, honestly, I think I might have had a nervous breakdown because the visibility has not been very good here in Manitoba either. But getting away from that, man, 20th overall to the Everett Silvertips in the first round of the 2021 WHL draft. Take me through first off, the process leading up to it, that day, leading up to that day before your name got called in the first round to Everett.
Well, the night before that, I could not sleep. I was so excited. I couldn't wait. I was like itching from the inside out. And then I woke up, and that morning felt like forever just waiting for the draft to start. It took so long, it felt like. And then when it did start, I was watching, waiting patiently. And then when I did get my name called, I never seen it because the show was delayed on mine. And I got a bunch of texts on my phone from people just saying, congrats. And I was like, what's this all about? And then my name came up on the TV, and I got pretty excited.
That must have been such a surreal moment for you, just getting all your phone blowing up essentially before you even watch your name get called. I mean, take me back to that moment, how surreal that experience was.
I was sitting in the living room watching it, and then like I don't even know how to describe it. Like the feeling of adrenaline and just happiness that went through me. It was something I've never felt.
Yeah, and I assume you were spending that day with family as you were waiting for your name to get called.
My family actually wasn't in town. I was at my billet's house, and they couldn't make it because of the weather again. So I was sitting there alone in the living room.
So you were alone, waiting for that
Yeah.
moment to happen, and then it does happen, and there you go, 20th overall in the WHL draft, going in the first round. I mean, obviously, it would have been nice for you to get drafted if you went to the second round or third round, any round in this draft, but to be drafted in the first round, 20th overall, at the very end of that first round, near the end of it, must have been a moment for you that you were pretty proud for yourself that you cracked, the first round in the draft.
Yeah, I know. I was super pumped. That's been the goal for the long time, striving to get my ranks up, get up in that first round, and it happened. So,
Obviously unable to have family there in the house, being alone once your name got called, but just the support afterwards from your family. What's it been like, or what was it like, the day of the draft?
it was really good. Like my grandparents, my aunties, my uncles, my cousins, they were all phoning me all at the same time as soon as it happened. And it was like a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, I loved it a lot.
Being from Porcupine Plains, Saskatchewan, I don't hear many players coming out of that part of Saskatchewan, and being able to make a name for themselves. Obviously, you're looking to do that, continuing to build up your resume, your name, putting the world on notice in the hockey world as your career goes along. But how proud does that make you? Being out of Porcupine, Plains, Saskatchewan, being able to be a player drafted from there.
It's I like it a lot because like you talk to the Saskatoon kids that I'm with about them getting drafted, and they're super pumped, but they don't get like tons of support from the town. But then like back in Porcupine, I'm in the newspapers, in the radio, in all the surrounding towns and stuff like that, and it's just super exciting.
How surreal has that been? I mean, getting as much media attention as you've been getting, like you said, being in newspapers, radio shows, you're on this show now. I mean, getting more media attention. I mean, how surreal has that been to be able to receive this amount of attention?
I definitely love the attention, that's for sure, and it's just an awesome feeling. So yeah.
Yeah, soak it all in. You only get drafted to the WHL once, and who knows, coming up later on in your hockey life, you could very well be an NHL draft pick, which would be absolutely surreal, but that's down the road, right? But talking about just being drafted among all of the players, a lot of your teammates went in this draft. Just how cool is it to be one of those Saskatchewan-born players, going into this draft and being drafted along with your teammates?
We were all super pumped. We were all super supportive of each other too, and just like lots of people talking about how awesome it is that so many guys in our team all got drafted and all so high too. It's just to go around and with them. It's good.
Yeah, for sure. Of course, Roger McQueen, Tyson Buchkowski, yourself, and many others from the Saskatoon Blazers getting drafted into the most recent WHL draft in 2021. But you've had a chance to sign with Everett already, signing your contract. Talk about that moment. Another surreal moment for Tarin Smith.
That was also super exciting. Like as soon as I got picked from them, I was like, when can I sign? When can I sign? When can I sign? That's all I could think, stuff like that. And then when they finally were like talking to my parents, talking to people and stuff like that, and I got the contract in the email and printed it out, put the pen to the paper, it was a really good feeling.
And to be able to do that, I mean, sign your contract, just what a moment for yourself, right? But what's the conversations been like with the organization? I mean, I'm not sure how much time you had to talk with them once you got drafted, but what have the conversations been like in general with Everett so far?
Super good, super good. I did go up with them after Christmas, and then I got to like meet all the teammates, stuff like that, meet all the guys, the coaches, the staff, and it was really good.
Yeah, and just must be cool, getting to meet the staff that you're gonna have a chance to play for coming up here in your hockey life. Being able to meet your teammates. I mean, what are those experiences been like so far for you? Getting to familiarize yourself with just the organization and the players and staff within it.
I think that was huge personally, like just riding the bus with the guys, being around them, going to team meals, and just seeing what the atmosphere is like and how good all the guys are to me and stuff like that, and how smart the coaches are and how much they know the game and stuff like that.
Have you? I assume you haven't had a chance to play with Everett yet, as of now.
I played 2 games actually. I played one in Prince George and one in Everett.
Right on. So you've already had a chance to, get your feet wet just a bit in the WHL. Obviously, not that much experience so far, but I mean, I feel like this is a comment or a word I keep saying, surreal. Must have been surreal for you to step foot on the ice and in an Everett Silvertips jersey.
It was unreal. Like even just the rookie lap in Prince George, that was super sick. But then coming back to Everett and playing in front of all their fans and how loud it was, like I've never been a part of anything like that, and I've never played in front of that many people before.
Was the rookie lap everything you imagined it to be? I mean, that's such a tradition, right? When a player plays their first game with an organization, whether that be the WHL or even the NHL, they get to do a rookie lap. I mean, was it everything you imagined?
Yeah, I couldn't get the smile off my face, and I was so nervous to go out there for it.
Right on. You never tripped or made yourself look foolish out there, like it's happened to some players before.
That's all I could think was, "Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall."
Yeah, for sure. All the eyes on you, right? This is your first lap with the team before the game, and yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. But just that experience of being able to play in front of WHL fans, being able to play. Yeah, we'll start off with that, and then I'll get into the competition. But just playing in the atmosphere that you've had a chance to play in those 2 games.
It was super fun, like seeing all those, like the little kids and all the Everett jerseys and like asking for pucks and warm-ups and stuff like that, and just how loud it is when you score and stuff like that. It's awesome.
Now, I'm not sure how much playing time they actually gave you out there. I'm going to get some clarification on you from you on that in this answer you're going to give here in just a moment. But just the level of competition from the 2 games that you got to play with Everett. What that level of competition was like. For you playing against them.
I know I was super nervous going into it, and I was just like, keep telling myself to be simple, just make the right plays, don't try to do too much. And then I got in there super nervous. I actually started the game in Prince George, and then I just made that first pass, got it dumped in, and then I just felt right into it, and I just felt super engaged. And then I got comfortable with the puck and was like starting to stick handle a little bit and stuff like that.
So they gave you your opportunities out there, right? Being able to,
Yeah, for sure.
doing those situations like 5-on-5, which is great, right?
Yeah.
That's great to hear. I mean, obviously, you're back with Saskatoon now, playing for the Blazers. But in terms of the 2 games that you got to play with Everett, what was the message from the coaching staff, and from just the boys on the team for those 2 games that you had, before you headed back to playing with the Blazers?
It was all super good. Like the coaches, they were super nice, said that they liked what they saw, and same with the players. They all texted me after and said they're super pumped to play with me next year. So that's good.
Right on. And how is that, those 2 experiences that you had playing in game with Everett, has it helped you at all since you've come back, being able to see the game maybe a different way since you're playing at a much higher pace than the AAA league offers?
I think it helped a lot with confidence and stuff like that, especially confidence. And then just coming back and feeling like way less pressured. And it's like crazy how much more time you have in the midget league than you do in the dub. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Tarin, we are going to move into talking about your season with Saskatoon here in just a moment. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back on this edition of the Prospect Show, joined by Everett Silvertips, drafted 20th overall in the 2021 WHL draft and a rookie defenseman for the Saskatoon Blazers, Tarin Smith. Stick with me and Tarin after this commercial break for more on the Prospect Show.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Welcome back to the Prospect Show here on ASTV Productions. Joining me on this edition of the show, first off, is number 24 rookie defenseman for the Saskatoon Blazers in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. Draft pick, first round, 20th overall in the 2021 WHL draft to the Everett Silvertips. He's also had some playing time with them already, playing 2 games with them, but it's Tarin Smith. Tarin, talking about your season with the Saskatoon Blazers. Now, obviously, you being a rookie on the team this year, but there's many, many rookies on the team, not just you, but you're having a very successful season for yourself at this point in the year. I mean, as a defenseman, 28 points in 34 games played, most of them being assists. In fact, the bulk of them being assists with 24 assists, only 4 goals in those games, but you lead the team defenseman on the team in points and assists. You're also third on the team in assists. Just talk about how nice it's been for yourself to have production on that side of the puck on the offensive side.
It helps a lot with the stuff like the confidence and things like that, and getting into my own groove and feeling myself and playing the way I can. And then on top of that, all the older guys on the team have been super helpful with stuff like that. So
yeah, and obviously, this is a team that's very young, but your rookies, the rookies on the team, you among the others, 15 rookies in total, they're very skilled players, right? But how nice has that been for you guys to have that type of success that you guys have had so far this year, being second place in the league and with this amount of youth being at the place you guys are at right now?
I think it definitely shows a lot about how strong and good of an 06 group we have, and that we can all compete and keep our own with the older 17-year-olds that are still in the league and stuff like that. So
talk about, the off season that you had to prepare for this season. Obviously, it was a vital year for you to continue boosting your draft stock, even though it was different this time around where you didn't get another full year to play before getting drafted. Only had, not as much time, basically, is what I'm trying to say, as other years to get prepared for the draft as other players would have. But just the off season you had to prepare for this year and to, be ready for once that puck dropped on the 2021-2022 season.
Yeah, I was at the lake a lot running, and then drive back to Porcupine, work out at least 4 or 5 days a week, run in the morning, stuff like that. Just be prepared for the start of the season. And then when preseason kicks around, riding the bike after practice, stuff like that, just keeping my legs ready and keeping my cardio up.
Talk about how that strength training that you did, also keeping up your cardio, has helped, in terms of your game this season, the type of player you are this season after the off season you've had.
I think the strength definitely helped on the defensive part, especially in the D zone, like closing guys off and definitely rounding out my physical side of the game, like the hits that I've been throwing lately. Because before this year, I wasn't much of a hitter, and now I've kind of been stepping up on guys, getting more comfortable like that, being able to knock guys over now. It helps a lot, and I think a lot of that came from the off-season weight training.
Yeah, and I know there was one clip that you sent me that I'm going to be breaking down, those clips on Player Breakdown at the end of this episode, but definitely seems like you like to throw the body, more than you might have, in your past years, just based off that clip. But, talk about it. Just obviously the strength is up, you up the ante on that. But Obviously, the confidence is also up in your game too this year. How confident have you felt this season with this Saskatoon Blazers team, especially as the season has gone along?
I think my confidence is at an all-time high, which is a good thing because I've been seeing results, whether that's in numbers or feedback from my coaches and stuff like that. And just, I feel like, I don't know, I've just been the most confident I ever have been.
Well, that's great to hear, and the numbers definitely speak to that offensively for sure. And your game seems like it's been very strong on the defensive side of things too, with you being a defenseman. But talk about what the transition was like for you, transitioning as a rookie in this league, playing against the older competition that is offered at the midget level.
It was a huge jump from second-year bantam to first-year midget, just from playing with 13 and 14-year-olds to 17-year-olds the next year. But I think I definitely rounded it out and figured out how to play around it and keep myself safe and, not get myself ran over and stuff like that. So
for sure. And definitely the strength training has helped you, be able to adjust as well, I assume, in the league this season, eh?
Yeah, it's helped a lot for sure.
Talk about the playmaking ability for yourself now. Obviously, with the 24 assists, you are third on your team in assists. You lead your all defensemen on the team in assists as well, along with points. But just your playmaking ability, the vision you have out there, how much of an asset has that been for you this season in terms of helping you make those plays?
I think that's definitely one of my biggest strengths is the way I can find guys backdoor from the point or see shot tips and stuff like that. And just I'm more of a pass first kind of guy, and that's really helped. So
talk about yourself off the rush. You sent me a clip. You scored an absolute beauty. Just your ability to also, find the weakness in a player to expose them with a move or either, burn them with speed, whatever the case may be. Just your ability to have on the rush as well as your creativity out there, how huge that's been this season.
I think it's definitely in the clip that I sent you. It's just I seen that guy cross over and I cut the other way, and there's no way he's recovering after he crosses over. And then on top of that, stuff like I've gotten a little bit more confident on the ozone blue line with beating wingers with fakes and coming down and shooting or finding a guy backdoor, which helped a lot.
Right on. Confidence, a huge part of why your game has been successful this season. Like any hockey player, right? If you're not confident out there, you might have all the skill in the world, but you're not confident to do it, it's not going to do much justice for you out there. And you've been able to, use that confidence that you've found and been able to have a very good season so far. Talk about the situations you've played in so far with this team, Tarin. Have you been able to play on the power play as well and on the PK, or are you just playing on one of those specials?
I have been playing on the power play and the PK, both of them, and on several different units. And it's taught me lots and stuff like that. So that's good. Sorry about that.
No worries. Getting a knock on the door there, hey?
Yeah.
Right on. We'll continue here. Yeah, that's great. You've been able to play on, those units in a lot of situations. How nice was that to have this coaching staff, trust you in many different situations, of course. Getting you situated in those different situations to boost your stock even further, perhaps.
It has helped a lot, definitely, and the coaching, the way that the power play is run and how they teach me how to run a power play and a power play breakout helps a lot. So,
who's that D partner you've been playing with this season?
I've been playing a lot with Liam Rodman and recently Isaiah Arnold.
All right on. If you want, you can go see whatever that person wants at the door. Well, we'll take a quick little break here. I'll let you get that sorted out here, Tarin. We'll be back. No problem. We'll be back with Tarin Smith in just a moment here on the Prospect Show. Everybody, stick around. Welcome back to the Prospect Show, everybody. Tarin Smith is currently joining me on the show here tonight, but someone was knocking at his door in his room, so I let Tarin, figure that out, have that sorted out, because it seems like he was a bit distracted, and I want his full attention, to be honest, because I have a chance to talk to one of the best defensemen for his age group, obviously getting drafted into the first round in the WHL draft, 20th overall to the Everett Silvertips in 2021 in December. And surreal moment for him. Surreal is a word that has been used a lot in this episode. And yeah, I feel like that's a word that I think has a purpose when talking to these young players, because this is an experience that is a once in a lifetime experience if you get drafted to the WHL, obviously other leagues as well, like the OHL, the QMJHL. But I talked to Western hockey players here on the show from Canada that get drafted to the WHL. And yeah, just amazing experience for Tarin to be able to do that. By the way, guys, coming up on the show tonight to end off things, player breakdown, this week's edition of that segment. It's a bit of a shorter one, not as many clips to break down as usual, but some good ones to break down for sure with Tarin Smith. That's coming up at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. But joining me back on the show here now, I think he has it all sorted out with whoever was knocking at his door is Tarin Smith. Tarin, we will continue talking about the season that you've been having so far this year, well, that your team has been having. I mean, second place in the league, 25-7-0-2 record on the season. Of course, you guys ramping up for playoffs, as they'll be here before we know it, across all leagues, really, in Canada. But talking about the team's offense, obviously Hudson Malinowski leads the team with 23 goals. Tyson Yaremko has 20 goals. Those two are among 7 forwards who have at least 10 goals. And every player has at least a goal on the team this season. Talk about how nice it has been to have not only the captain and Hudson doing his thing this season, but all the other players stepping up and providing the depth that you guys have had this year.
I think it definitely helps for us to be able to roll 4 lines of all offense, and all 4 lines can put the puck in the net, where other teams only have 1, 2, maybe 3. And I think that's led to a lot of our wins in games, is us just being able to roll 4 and then them getting tired by the 3rd.
Yeah, and depth, such a huge thing, right, for any team, especially looking to make a push for the championship. As you guys, I assume that is the goal. I mean, with how competitive you guys are, right, and being near the top, obviously talking about just the depth, obviously, but how you guys have been able to attack offensively out there, really being able to put the pressure on teams and putting up goals.
Yeah, I think the biggest part of that is just how we are in the D zone. Everyone picks up their own guys. We all have good discipline, and then we can take down their breakdowns, get up the ice, get good shots from the point, net presence, and stuff like that.
Good offense usually comes from good defense. Of course, you're a part of this very deep D-core that the team has this season. I mean, 2 notables that went in the WHL draft for you guys was yourself, of course, and Tyson Buchkowski, your teammate, and has also been a guest here on the show before. But talk about how nice it's been to play among these boys on the defensive side of the puck this season.
It definitely teaches me a lot, especially with the older guys. Like Liam Rodman, he's taught me a lot about closing guys off at the blue line and more about leadership and etiquette and stuff like that, and how you treat other people.
Talk about how huge that's been to have the leadership, the amount of guys that you guys have that are vets that have been in this league before, with so many rookies on this team. How nice it's been to lean on those guys for, knowledge and the experiences that they've had.
All those vets and all the leaders definitely help out so much, just bringing us all up, keeping our confidence up, keeping the team going no matter what and stuff like that. And they just help the moral in the dressing room a bunch. So.
You talk about the team defense. Does it just, how you guys have been so effective this year, does it come down to the structure out there, the systems that the coaches run out there? I mean, obviously the talent you guys have helps as well, but talk about why this team has been able to find so much success on the defensive side of the puck.
I think it's just our hard work and discipline. Like, it's that simple. It's just like getting pucks out on the wall, making good hard passes, and sometimes we get hemmed in. That happens to every team, just making sure it gets out and bearing down on it. So.
Talk about the special teams now, just the power play first off. Obviously you've been a part of the power play and the penalty kill, but Getting your thoughts on the power play, you know, how you guys have been able to produce when you guys have had the man advantage, whether that be 5-on-4 or 5-on-3.
I don't believe we have one of the strongest power play in the league, but it's definitely a good one. We get the puck moving around a lot and expose those PKs that pressure hard, especially when they bring a guy up to the blue line, and then we make it a 4-on-3 down low, and then lots of cross ice one-timers and stuff like that. That produces really well.
Is that an area that you guys are focusing on, looking to improve as the playoffs are coming up here?
Yeah, we're working on power play all the time, seeing what works best for the teams, stuff like that.
All right, on. Well, you know, hopefully that power play, you know, reaches another level. Of course, like you said, it's a very good power play at this point. But talking about the penalty kill, first off, is this a team that takes many penalties? I mean, you've talked about how disciplined this team is. Is that factored into you guys, you know, being disciplined in terms of not taking as many penalties out there as other teams?
Yeah, I don't think we take as many as other teams do, but we do certainly take penalties. And then I think we have one of the best penalty kills in the league for sure, at least when that comes to percentages. And just like we have a big neutral zone presence, the forwards pressure the entries to the wall, and then the D-men cut it off at around our blue line and just try force dump ins and stuff like that, so they just can't skate it in cleanly.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, like you said, one of the best penalty kills in the league. Does that just come down to all the stuff you've been talking about before, like staying, you know, disciplined out there when you guys are on the, you know, disadvantage with them having the other team having a power play, also playing good structure?
I think lots of it is like the hard work and discipline, but then on top of that, we do have a really good structured penalty kill, and everyone does what they're supposed to do, and it works really well.
Talk about the goaltending for this team. Obviously, all great teams need good goaltending. Now, looking at the numbers, the numbers aren't absolutely groundbreaking for these goaltenders you guys got, but there's a rookie in net for you guys. I forget his name off the top of my head, but in terms of the goaltenders that you guys have had this season, how confident you guys are with both of those goaltenders you guys have?
I'm super confident with both of them back there. They're both outstanding goalies. They're both going to end up in the Western League. And they both should have all the confidence in the world, and especially because I can't score on them in practice.
Oh, there you go. Right. When that's the case, you know, you have a pretty darn good goaltenders in net there, Tarin. But what in your opinion makes these goaltenders, you know, as good as they are?
I think it's just all the work they put in, whether that's going out with our goalie coach when none of the team else is on the ice, them having a few extra skates every week and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I've seen clips of you guys having some skill sessions, you know, as a team out there, the goaltenders having skill sessions as well. How huge is that for you guys? You know, obviously you want to work on the team stuff, but being able to work on your skills out there and, you know, sharpening those as the season progresses.
Yeah, lots of time we do a skill skate at least once a day. So that helps out a lot with like small area stuff and getting around guys and making good hard passes, stuff like that. So.
One more question here before I let you go, Tarin. You know, obviously playoffs coming up soon. You know, you guys looking to stay near the top of the league in second place right now. Lots of good competition in this league. What's going to be the goal for you guys or some of the goals that you guys have been setting as, you know, you guys are looking to finish this season strong?
I think before playoffs, towards the end of the season, we are looking to take that first spot. And that would be huge because I think we have one more game left against that first spot team, and just beating them in that, because we're not far behind them in the points, that would help out a lot. And I think that's a main goal. And then transitioning into the playoffs, it's obviously just to win the provincials, go to the end.
Yeah. No doubt about it. That is always the goal, especially for a top team as you guys are. And yeah, going to be a very exciting playoff situation that's going to be going down here in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. Tarin Smith, number 24 of the Saskatoon Blazers, also Everett Silvertips, first-round pick, 20th overall in the 2021 WHL draft, joining the show tonight. Tarin, best of luck to you and the team heading forward this season, and We'll talk soon again in the future, I'm sure. Take care, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. You take care, Tarin.
See you.
Tarin Smith joining the show here tonight on this Monday evening. Of course, their team in second place right now. Tarin been a huge part of the offense that's been distributed there from the back end. I can't wait to talk about him later on in player breakdown. But coming up after the show, it's the return of the MCN Sports Advising segment here on the show. Didn't have one last week, but we do have one tonight for you guys that is coming up next. I'm going to be joined by a player from the Alberta Elite Hockey League, number 17 of the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers. I'm not going to pronounce the full name, but you guys will be hearing it later on. It is quite a mouthful to say. I ended up, I'm going to end up, not saying it as much as, as I say Fort Saskatchewan Rangers. But anyways, a live interview coming up next with number 17 of that team, the U15 AAA team, forward 2007 born forward Emerson Hauch, here coming up on the show to talk about his season with the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers, as well as talking about his short time that he is, his time being represented by MCN Sports Advising. You're watching the Prospect Show here on ASTV Productions. Everybody stick around for more after the commercial break. It's this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment here on the Prospect Show, and joining me on this week's edition of the show is a 2007 born forward who plays for the Fort Saskatchewan Enhanced Rangers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League. I'm not going to pronounce the full name of the team every time because it is quite a mouthful, but number 17, 2007 born forward Emerson Hauch joining the show here tonight. Emerson, how are you doing, man? I mean, you're having a very productive season so far. I'm sure you're pretty pleased with the season you're having so far with the Rangers.
Yeah, for sure. Our team has definitely been really successful this year so far for the first half. Hopefully to continue through in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys got, I believe, 9 games left on the season. You guys are sitting in second place right now. We'll get into the team portion of the interview in just a bit here. But first off, I got to ask you, man, about just the season you're having. 25 games played, 16 goals, 23 assists for 39 points. You're tied for second in points on your team. Just talk about how pleased you've been with the production that you've had out there this season, how you've been able to put up this amount of points.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I'm playing with a really, really good group of guys on my line, and our line is very productive, and it's just you get grinding in the corners, getting pucks out, and that's how we're capitalizing.
More assists than goals for you this year, with 23 assists compared to your 16 goals. Would you say that you're more of a playmaker out there, or do you just kind of the way things have been rolling is you getting more assists this season than goals?
Yeah, definitely more of a playmaker. I love making the plays from the corners and hitting the guys in the slot.
Yeah, being able to go down low in the corners and battle, is that one of the biggest parts of your game, is being able to go to those dirty areas?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, right on. And obviously, I don't like to compare to prospects because you guys have a way better shot of going farther in hockey than I do. But I'm 20 years old. But when I played in minor hockey, I was the same as you, going into those corners and being able to feed the teammates. So, definitely can relate to you in that part of your game. But the goals that you've had this season, 16 goals, just take me through, how you're able to score the way you do out there with the 16 that you've had so far.
Yeah, like, I don't think I have one goal off the rush this year. It's getting the puck low, working it to the front, and just getting those greasy goals in front for sure.
Right on. Just those hard-working goals, and the hard work's been paying off for sure. Talk about, this season. Obviously, you being a 2007 born player, this is your draft year. So obviously you being one of the older players in the, in the league this season, being a 2007 born player. But what would you say is probably taken the biggest step in your game in terms of what you felt like you've improved on the most this season?
Definitely like my playmaking, like going from last year to this year, I wasn't a big key factor. And this year I'm starting to make better plays and getting into play a lot better.
Will you say that also comes down to just the confidence you have this year compared to last year?
Yeah, confidence is a big thing for sure. Yeah.
And I've seen that you've been able to get some points on the power play as well. Obviously, you've had a chance to play on the power play this year. With this being your draft year, how nice has it been to know that your coaches have been able to trust you in situations like that, putting you out in key situations?
Yeah, it's awesome. Our coaching staff is phenomenal. I love them all. And I'm a power play. I'm just a big net front guy, tipping those pucks in.
Yeah. Right on. Always great to have that, right? That net front presence, such a huge thing on the power play, and great that you've been able to provide that for the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers this year. But let's talk about the team now. You guys are 25-0 this season, second place in the North Division in the Alberta Elite Hockey League U15 AAA group. Talk about, just the success this team has had this season, especially in the last 10 games. But before we get into that, just how the season has gone as a whole for you guys to be in this position.
Yeah, like at the start of the year, we started really strong. I think we went on like a good win streak there. And then we lost one, but our team, we just been winning games, right? Our season's been strong, like our coaching staff and everything. We have lots of depth on our team. It's been a really fun season.
Yeah, for sure. And that depth has resulted in some very good things for you guys. You guys actually have the most goals as a team in the North Division this season with 119 goals for. Just talk about how nice it's been to rely on not only one player this season, but a whole bunch of players out there, both forwards and defensively, defensemen being able to contribute some offense as well.
Yeah, our D-man, big shooters. Lots of our offense comes from our D-man. And our forwards, every line is always going. Like every game, every forward line's going, and our D-men, they're always shooting. It's awesome.
Speaking about that defensive side of the puck now, 57 goals against for the team. That's second least allowed in the North Division. Talk about how this team has been able to find so much success in the defensive zone so far this season.
It's our breakouts. Our breakouts are so clean. We spend really no time on our own zone. It's always quick up and out through the neutral zone, get it deep, and then work the offensive end.
Obviously, being able to have success like that is great, but obviously there may be times in games where you guys could get hemmed in. Talk about when that does happen, when a team does have that puck possession and might be working it around, how you guys are able to recover out there and be able to use good defensive structure to, eliminate some chances perhaps.
Yeah, for sure. Like we try to block as many shots as we can from the point or get it tight so our goalie can cover it, get off the ice, get some fresh legs out there.
Talk about your game defensively this season. Have you always been a good player in the defensive zone, or is that something that you felt has come along this season in terms of you having success as a forward defensively?
Yeah, it's definitely coming along on the left wing, trying to get pucks out on the wall. I'm starting to trying to get better at getting those pucks up off the glass so I can hit the center in the neutral zone. But it's always hard when there's D-man coming at you pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure. This team, the Rangers, the team you play on, has already clinched a playoff spot. You guys will be playing, will have a chance to play for a championship, depending on the success you guys have in the playoffs. But talking about that, how nice it is to know that you guys have already clinched a spot already in the league for the playoffs.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Yeah, we just gotta keep the hard work up. So then we can go into those playoffs sitting in hopefully first here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and you guys are 6 points away from taking first place in the North. The St. Albert Greg Distributors Sabres are in first. You guys don't play them for the rest of the regular season. But talking about, the strong play that has happened in the last 10 games, you guys are 8-2 in the last 10 games. You guys have shut teams out. You guys have won close games and convincingly in some games as well. And in terms of the losses, in one of those losses, you guys only lost by a goal. Talk about how satisfied the team has been with the performance overall in these last 10 games.
Yeah, for sure. Coming out of December, we were undefeated. Going into January, we had that one strong hard weekend. Grand Prairie, I think they're sitting in third in our league. They were in second, and they held us to a game for sure. They come out with the 3-2 lead, but it was a really fun game to play. Can't wait to play them again. But 8-2 in the last 10, that's pretty wicked.
Obviously for this team this season, the goal for you guys is to keep getting better and better and building towards playoffs. Would that be the mindset, is just building off of those good habits that you guys have shown out there in these next 9 games to end the regular season?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, right on there, Emerson. We're going to take a commercial break now. And after the commercial break, we're going to go away from talking about the team you play on, the Fort Saskatchewan Rangers, and talk about your time being represented, being advised by MCN Sports Advice. And I'm joined by number 17 of the Fort Saskatchewan Enhanced Rangers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League, Emerson Hauch, on this edition of the show. Coming up, I'll be back with Emerson for more here on the show. So yeah, we're going to take about a 20-second commercial break now. If you need to use the washroom at all. Welcome back to this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment here on the Prospect Show, joined by number 17 of the Fort Saskatchewan Enhanced Rangers U15 AAA team in the Alberta Elite Hockey League, in Emerson Hauch. Emerson having a very solid year this season so far, 39 points in 25 games for his club, and the team sitting in second place right now, looking for more, though, looking to get first place in the league as they finish off the season with 9 games left on the schedule. But Emerson, MCN, the topic of the interview now. Obviously, MCN Sports Advising offers not just advising, but education, mentoring, and training as well. But talk about how you found MCN Sports Advising, that place where you're being advised now.
So I believe 2 weekends ago, our team got the chance to play in the John Reed tournament, and MCN approached me at the tournament, and they had lots of good things to say and seemed like a really, really good group of guys. And just a couple days later, decided to go with them, and now we're here with them.
Wow. So it's pretty recent since you've joined them, pretty recent since you become a player that they advise. Talk about just the conversations more into depth that you had with them before you made that decision into becoming a player that they advised.
It was really, for me, just like what they have to offer, what they're going to help me with. Like I really had no idea what advising was until I looked into it and talked with them about it. And they seem like the ones to go with, and excited to get started with them.
So who is the one who is going to be advising you? Is it going to be Matt Gorman, the owner of the company, or one of their other advisors?
I believe it will be Matt Gorman.
All right, on Matt. He's a terrific guy. Your first impressions on him?
Oh, such a nice guy, especially after meeting him after the game. Really, really outgoing guy. Seems like an unreal guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he's had a lot of experience in the sport, playing in many different places at the pro level as well. How excited are you to learn from Matt, all the experiences that he's had, for him to provide that good mentorship for you?
Yeah, super excited for him to get started. Yeah.
Obviously you haven't had a chance to really get started with them yet, but how excited are you to know that not only will they will be advising you, but as well as offering you knowledge on the education side of things, being a mentor for you, and also offering you training as well?
Yeah, especially in the summer. Good training over the summer is good. So I'll definitely be working with them over the summer and stuff. Yeah.
Have they had a chance to show you any pictures of the facilities that they have in terms of the training facilities?
No, not yet. No.
Well, the training facilities look pretty awesome. Makes me jealous, being an older guy now, knowing that players like you and everyone else with MCN Sports Advising gets to train there. So I think you're going to have a blast. But, what are you most excited for, with your experience with MCN here? Obviously, you haven't started up with them in too much depth yet. But what's one thing that is going to excite you the most about this experience moving forward on your first impressions of MCN?
It's going to be nice just to have someone to talk to, right? Like if you're down on your confidence or something, they're going to be there to build it up for you. And that's what I need most right now.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you're eligible for the WHL draft coming up here in 2022. How excited are you, or how nice is it for you to know that you'll have MCN Sports Advising, taking care of that stuff behind the scenes and just allowing you to go out and focus on playing your game out there, doing what you do best, is playing hockey?
Yeah, it's really nice now. Like I can just worry about the game. That's all I have to worry about is the game. And then those guys, they're awesome at what they do, and I trust them for sure.
I'm going to ask you this question here, Emerson. I assume that a goal for you would be to, make the WHL and be able to get drafted there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, it's a ways away, but coming up, has the draft been on your mind quite a bit recently, or is it something that you're trying not to think about?
I think about it. It's try not to think about it. Just worry about the next few games here. We got playoffs and provincials coming up, and then as soon as that's over, I'll probably start thinking about it more for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Got to take care of business first, right?
Yeah.
Your team, for sure. No doubt about it, Emerson. Last question. Obviously, you don't have much experience with MCN as of now, but just in terms of the first impressions that they made on you, your decision to choose them, tell, the viewers out there, in your opinion, why, a player should choose MCN Sports Advising as that place to be advised as a hockey player.
Yeah, MCN. Not too many advising people offer training for sure, and the education side of it. And these guys do a stellar job of it, as what I've heard and seen on the internet. So yeah.
Well, right on. Another positive message from a player, newcomer to the MCN Sports Advising family in Emerson Hauch. Emerson, thanks so much for taking the time and joining the show here on this Monday night, man. Best of luck to you and the team here heading forward this season. Best of luck to you when the WHL draft does hit. Hoping to hear your name called at some point in that draft, and also best of luck to you with your future endeavors here moving forward with MCN Sports Advising.
Thank you. And thank you for having me on here. Appreciate it.
Of course, Emerson. It was a pleasure. Take care, man. And Emerson Hauch joining tonight's edition of the show. Sorry, folks. Forgot to go to commercial before, I want to go use the washroom quick during that commercial break. But yeah, Emerson, a 2007 born player, newcomer to the MCN Sports Advising family. Great to hear that he has nothing but great things to say about them so far, for the short amount of time he's had being advised by them, not really being advised by them yet, but the short time he's been able to be advised by them as of now. So we're going to take another commercial break here, folks. Coming up after the commercial break, it's this week's edition of Player Breakdown here on the show, here on the Prospect Show. You're watching the Prospect Show on ASTV Productions. Stick around for more after this commercial break. Welcome back to the Prospect Show, everybody. Had some technical difficulties a bit on my part, I guess, in terms of the show flowing smoothly as I usually like to have it. But yeah, Emerson Hauch joining the show here most recently on this week's edition of the MCN Sports Advising segment. Special thanks to him for coming on the show for tonight's episode and being a guest on that segment. Great to have it back here this week on the Prospect Show. And also a special thanks to Tarin Smith for coming on the show. This won't be the end of the show yet, but the reason I bring up Tarin Smith now is because he is the player that I'll be breaking down on this week's edition of Player Breakdown, the 8th edition of this segment. And, couldn't find many game clips of Tarin on the internet. Most of these players, some have a lot of game footage on the internet, some don't. But for Tarin, I got him to send me 3 clips. Asked him to send me clips. He ended up sending me 3. And yeah, Tarin, from what I've seen from these clips, these 3 clips that I had, I feel like could be a demonstration of, what he does consistently out there and what he kind of talked about throughout the interview that I did with him. So this is a player that got drafted in the first round of the WHL draft in 2021, as mentioned before. So this past December, and he's a 15-year-old player. His birthday coming up in March on the 24th. So going to be turning 16 before he knows it. Of course, it is February now. No, it is not February now. It is the day before February, January 31st, which is crazy. Time absolutely flies. But listed on eliteprospects.com, he is 6'1", 174 pounds, and not sure if he's going to grow anymore in his lifetime. He might put on a few more inches. Who knows? Maybe he gets another big growth spurt. That happens with some people, right? But he can definitely continue to put on some more weight. He's already at a pretty good weight for his age. I'd say 174 pounds. He said that he did a lot of strength training in his off season, some cardio training as well. And I feel like his strength training has definitely shown out there. He looks like a pretty big presence out there on the ice. But from Porcupine Plain, Saskatchewan, so far this season, as mentioned, he has 28 points in 34 games played. He's played 2 games already with the Everett Silvertips and was able to have a good experience there. But let's dive into the game clips now of Tarin Smith, number 24, defenseman of the Saskatoon Blazers draft pick of the Everett Silvertips. Gotta load up the clips here, folks, and then we can get right on into it. So taking a look at it, got to go into the right folder here, and taking a look. Where's it at? Here it is. Tarin Smith, everybody. This is his game tape, and just starting off. I mean, it's just Tarin. He's good on the rush. Very dangerous defenseman on the rush here, and I think he displays it here in this clip, and he's very confident out there the way he carries himself and carries the puck in this clip and the way he's able to make this move. But you're going to see here, Tarin is the defenseman here closest. Well, he's the player closest to the camera, who is shooting the video. He's right behind the ref right here, and going to follow Tarin here on the play. Tarin going to end up getting a cross-ice pass, receiving it. You don't see him receive the pass, but he ends up receiving it. He goes in, and Tarin ends up staying wide at first, but then he's going to see this defenseman turn his feet, and he's going to be at a disadvantage here because Tarin has that puck on the forehand still, and he has some options here. He could potentially make a pass to this player here if there is an opening. Not the highest quality play that he could make here. He can continue to go wide, but what Tarin is going to do here is he's going to want to attack the middle of the ice. And the way to do that is, either he cuts to the middle now, or he waits a bit longer to do a toe drag like he does here. This defenseman in bad positioning, he ends up poke checking, and as soon as he poke checks, Tarin toe drags it into a good position for him to shoot. It eliminates that player, gets by him, and roofs it upstairs. Now, that's him on the rush. Very confident, right? Very creative to be able to make that move. Saw the ice very well, saw the opening he could have had, the position he could have been in if he did make that move, and he did exactly that. But, his great vision on display here. Take a look at this one here. Going to play it in full, and then I'm going to run it back. This is a thing of beauty. A beautiful stretch pass to a teammate, finding that seam, and ends up in the back of the net for a goal. But take a look at Tarin here, what he sees. And Tarin, he's going to see that there is a player for the opposing team. I'm not sure who they were playing. I assume all these clips are from this year. This player is going to be the player that Tarin has to worry about. There's the player near the blue line here who's not in the greatest position. And there's also, I believe, another player that is on the left side of Tarin. I mean, I guess the right side for where I'm looking at this play. But he's going to see that this player in the middle here, that's closest to attacking Tarin, that has a chance, is going to go towards the middle and actually open up this whole left side here nicely for Tarin to make this pass. And Tarin realizes that there's not another forward high that's in the middle in the offensive zone for that team, as he's in the defensive zone, and he is going to see that he has a seam to pass it. He puts enough zip on this puck to his teammates, or to his teammate up in the neutral zone. And Tarin does exactly that, sees the seam open, sees the open pass in lane, and makes that pass right there. Just a thing of beauty from Tarin, to have that patience, to have that awareness, to make a play that was there for the taking, and he executes it. But talking about Tarin now, his ability to lay the body, he does exactly that on this play here coming up. Let's pause for a second, but look at Tarin here. Boom, lays the body. And, just that strength. I mean, he, fell after the hit, but just that ability, that confidence to use the body, definitely going into the strength that he has out there as a player now after that offseason he had to work on his strength. But yeah, Tarin, a player that can distribute that puck at a high level, 24 assists, the lead defenseman on his team in assists, and is third on his team in assists. He obviously doesn't have the most goals in the world, but has a pretty good shot. And he's just a player that's very good on the rush, very good awareness out there. I think that plays into his IQ. And he's a guy that, uses his body to his advantage now, a guy that got stronger over the offseason, and it's definitely shown in his game. So overall, like I've said many times, good on the rush, great vision, can lay the body. He's a good passer. He's a great passer, honestly. And, he's got a good shot, too, from what I've seen. So the Everett Silvertips, I mean, they must be excited to have a player like this who's going to continue growing and going to continue to gain more confidence. And that's what I think is a huge thing in Tarin's game. If he is confident, like he said, he's the most confident he's ever been. He, can do some great things if he's able to have that confidence. And I'm excited to see what the future holds for Tarin Smith here in the world of hockey. But yeah, that's going to do it for this week's edition of Player Breakdown, everybody. Like I said, a shorter one tonight, as I did not have as many clips as I usually do to break down on a player, but it was still nice to break down Tarin Smith's game, number 24 of the Saskatoon Blazers, AAA team in the Saskatchewan Male AAA Hockey League. If you enjoyed this week's edition of the Player Breakdown segment, be sure to leave a comment, a like, or a reaction wherever you guys are watching. So yeah, that's going to do it for tonight's edition of the Prospect Show, this week's edition of the show. I've been your host, Graeme Graeme Forsyth. Before I sign off, I want to once again give a special thanks to the two people who joined the show tonight, the two guests in Tarin Smith and Emerson Hauch, Emerson Hauch, for joining the show tonight. My apologies there. I was drawing a blank on the name. But yeah, well, that's kind of embarrassing. But yeah, special thanks for those two for coming on the show tonight and being the guests in tonight's edition of the Prospect Show. Special thanks to you, the viewer, for tuning in tonight as well. And also a special thanks to our sponsors for tonight's episode in Caisse Financial Group, TOVI Hockey, and Pilot-Mound Hockey-Academy. The Prospect Show will be returning next week on the network. You guys can catch that one live here at 8 p.m. Central Time on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, or on our website at astvproductions.com. Be sure to check out our social media pages on our Instagram at ASTV Productions, as well as our Facebook and Twitter. The morning of that episode, just before noon, it will be posted, the guest list for that episode. And if we don't have it finalized yet, be sure to check back on the social media throughout the day. Check back on our social medias throughout that day to see who those guests will be for the episode on the guest list. But hoping to have it on time, did not have it on time today for who the guests would be. So I postponed, just the announcement a bit. In a way, I announced the episode was coming out, but waited a bit later on in the day to post the guest list because it wasn't finalized. But hopefully that doesn't happen next week. Should have some great guests joining next week's edition of the show, so stay tuned for that. 8 p.m. Central Time next Monday night, everybody, where we'll be coming to you in February, January. This is the final January Prospect Show of the year. So it's been a blast. See you guys in February. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your Monday night. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe out there. Stay warm out there. Stay safe on the road. Stay safe in general and stay warm. And until next week on Monday night, everybody, I've been your host of the Prospect Show, Graeme Forsyth, giving you the salute, peacing out, and signing off now. We'll see you next week on Monday night, everybody. Take care. Good night.